Well, this season of Friday Night Tailgate Party is dedicated to bringing you more scores, more games, and more interviews, which brings us to right now, a new segment I'm calling The After Party. Following their Week 1 13-7 victory over the LC-M Battlin Bears, joining me now in studio, head coach of the Hamshire-Fannett Longhorns, Mark Waggoner. So you got that first win under your belt. Just talk to me a little bit about how that feels.
It feels fantastic to start 1-0. We're very fortunate. It was a weather game, and all of those kind of games are pretty scary. So we're pretty happy. A win is a win, and we will certainly take it. We're a very good football team.
I was going to say, you had quite a bit of a mud pit at Longhorn Stadium, and I know you have a very experienced team on your hands. Just one underclassman I saw on your roster. You got to have the maturity, I think, to play in the elements like that. Talk to me a little bit about just kind of the strategy utilizing your run game in particular during that game.
Yeah, and the funny thing is our slogan at Hamshire-Fannett is same mud, same blood, because we're one of the few teams that don't have turf around. And so we have to practice in the rain and the mud quite a bit. And so we get used to it, I guess. That people don't understand that the weight of the ball gets heavier during the night as it gets wet. And it's harder to throw, harder to snap. Just the little things that you don't think of, like, why aren't they executing out there, both teams? Well, because they're being very cautious, you know. Well, when you have juniors and seniors, especially guys that have had some playing time and playing experience, they understand that. And they understand that their routes, the way they're playing defense, they got to make sure that their footing is good when they make the cut. And whereas inexperienced players are just going to run out there and they're going to slip slide around. And like coaches in pregame sometimes forget that it's muddy because they haven't done a lot of stuff and they fall down. Stuff like that.
I was going to say, I think Aaron Mack came back from that game a little bit covered on the one-hand side. Yeah. But your defense also putting in work during that game. Just kind of talk to me about what it took to kind of hold the Battlin Bears back.
And with LC-M, you're talking about an offense that's, they brought a lot of people back from last year. They had a really good scrimmage, 2 scrimmages, and looked good against Port Neches, I thought. So we were really worried about their offense, their experience. And then when you look at some people's opinion on us, is we only returned 3 starters on our team from defense last year. And the performance that we were able to put together, we were ecstatic about that. You know, coming away, I think it was 165 total yards for LC-M that we were able to hold them to. So happy with that. Now, I'm sure a lot of that was attributable to LC-M having a difficult time with the footing like we were, you know. So, but if that's a benefit for us, I'll take it. So we were very pleased with the defense, and we were able to play 19 different kids out there on the defensive side of the football, and that'll certainly help us going down the road here.
Yeah, I was going to say that score, though, was 0-0 going into halftime. Talk to me a little bit about the conversation that you had in the locker room to kind of get your guys on the right track to make some offensive plays starting the second half.
It was miscues. I thought we were executing somewhat, but I think in our routes the timing was off because of the footing. I think that was kind of frustrating for both teams probably. So we talked about, hey, it looks like there's going to be a pocket of weather where it's not going to be raining here coming up in the second half, and we need to take advantage of that time. Then we also talked about limiting the side of the footballs. We thought we were getting a little tired in the second quarter. We had some guys going both ways, so when we came back out, we tried to limit our guys to more going one side of the football. I think those 2 things, and then the rain stopping. It was still muddy and saw that, but at least the ball was, the rain's not coming down on you like it was. So I think those factors are attributed to a better second half offensively for us.
Yeah, and you obviously got the result in the end. I think sometimes for a lot of teams here, the biggest growth that you see is from week 1 to week 2. So going into week 2, what are some of the things that you are going to have to kind of change up to keep this momentum going? Okay,
so when we came out of week 1, the Longhorns need to tackle a little bit better. We weren't happy with our tackling. It took 2 or 3, we thought, to get to the point of impact. Just our backside blocking needed to improve just a little bit, and that might have been attributable to the mud and the slipping. I thought we did very well. We didn't jump off sides, which is a good thing that normally happens. And I think we had 1 illegal procedure penalty, and those are pretty good. We had a few miscues on our formations, alignment, stuff like that. And it's just the normal things that you have to improve. We had some missed snaps over the head that were drive killers for us. We had a punt snap on the ground. We had a bobbled snap on a field goal. Maybe they were all because of the weather and the wet ball, but these are things we have to improve on.
Yeah, I was going to say it might have been the weather, or it might have just been first week jitters. Just talk to me a little bit about, cleaning up those mistakes and just kind of the things that you guys did really well in that game.
Yeah, well, I thought there was a lot of stuff we did really well with the offensive line. And when you start with, Maddox Hubert at right tackle, and Lloyd Connell at guard, Wilson at center, Giovanni at the left guard, and Batiste at the left tackle. It's probably the best offensive line we've had since I've been at Hamshire-Fannett, and I thought they executed very well. We had some younger backs or carrying the football in the first half. I don't think their vision was what it needed to be. I think in the second game that will much improve. I think anxiety kind of takes over a little with those kids. But our quarterback, I don't know if you all got to see Ty Bryson, but he really got to show you what he possesses, and he's very hard to sack. He keeps his eyes down the field. He's deadly accurate. I thought his performance was incredible. I really did. In a wet game like that, throwing the ball as accurately as he did, it's really hard to do if you've never done that. And he kept his footing, moving around. I was so excited about him. A Braxton Starnes and a Pierce Pirtle. I think they're two best players in Southeast Texas. I really do. And on a dry field, they're something to contain. And so I'm excited about that. A lot of things exciting. Chris Augustine, you got to see in the second half. A very dynamic football player that can go to the house at any time. So I think I'm more excited about anything than disappointed coming out of week one. I know you could say, hey, that was a tight ball game, and hey, you guys are expected to do whatever, but LC-M is a very talented football team. They're very good. You would have to go toe-to-toe with them any night, well coached. And so going into it, I felt like this is like playing the number 2 team in the state. I mean, they just scrimmaged P&G. You're 2-time state finalist, 1-time state champion. And LC-M looked good against P&G, which is a great ball club. So yeah, we knew we had our work cut out for us. And a few little mistakes, but overall, I think I'm very excited about this upcoming week, even though it's going to be a very difficult opponent.
Yes, very difficult opponent, but hopefully better weather. Just talk to me a little bit about what you're expecting from Hitchcock.
Well, we got turf. Okay, so that's going to be good for both teams. We got to go down there. It's always being the visiting team. It can be tough, but I think we'll be excited about if we're playing in the rain again, or at least we're not in mud, and it's going to be good that way. When you look at a Hitchcock team, they have 5 Division I guys coming back, and quarterback is going to Texas Tech. They have a receiver going to A&M. And one going to UTEP. They have a defensive end going to Nebraska, and they have another offensive tackle going to Stephen F. Austin. So they have a lot of talent on this 3A ball club. And you're talking a top 5, top 3 ranked team, I guess, going into week 1. And it's a scary football team. That quarterback is you can see why Texas Tech is coming after this young man. He's very difficult to sack. He's about 6'5", 6'6". He's big, he's fast, and he can throw. Difficult task for the Longhorns this week.
Well, best of luck to you guys. And be sure to tune in to Friday Night Tailgate Party all season long for more coverage from the best sports team in Southeast Texas.